Hi, I'm Bonnie Barker, and today we're going to start video number 4. This is going to be the video where we learn how to assemble all of our little squares that we've been working on. I don't have all my squares completed, but I have enough to show you 3 rows of them. Okay, so this is where this diagram here is also going to be very helpful to you. So if you haven't printed out the pattern yet, you might want to print it out, if nothing else, just for this diagram alone. I've gone ahead and I've laid them out on the table. Let me go ahead and show you that. Okay, so as you can see, the squares are going to be alternating, going this way, this way, this way, this way, and this way. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to show you is how to put together just 2 simple squares. I'm going to show you that up close and personal. So what you're going to want to do is alternating the direction of the squares. I want you to make a row of 5. Okay, you're going to be making rows of 5, and you're going to do 4 rows of 5. Just make sure that when you're putting these together that you do 2 rows of 5 that begin and end with a horizontal square, and then you need to make 2 more of 5 squares each that begin and end with a vertical square. Okay, that's very important. Okay, now let's start putting these squares together. As I said before, you're going to want to have one square, the first one you start out with, going across, and this one going up and down or vertically. Okay, so I'm going to hold these, let me show you, with the back sides facing. Okay, so you should be able to see the nice cabling throughout the time of connecting, because the stitch that you're going to use, the knurl stitch, to connect these is going to be on the surface. Okay, so let me go grab some yarn. So now that we've double checked to make sure that these squares are oriented the way we want to, back sides facing, front side should be out so that you can see them. We're going to put our hook in the chain 2 corners of each square, and as we work the knurl stitch across, let's go ahead and do a slip stitch. And notice I put both strands through around the hook. That's just a habit, something I like to do. I think it gives it a little more secure of a join. Alright, now we're going to work the knurl stitch from left to right or right to left, if you're looking at the left-handed videos. Now when we go through this, we're going to go through both panels, both stitches. Okay, 2 stitches there and 2 stitches there. So you're going to actually, if you look at the top, you're going to go through all 4 strands, these 2 strands and these 2 strands. Okay, so let's go ahead, and this might be a little tricky to start. Okay, and we're just going to work through both strands all the way across. You want to try to make this look as neat as possible, but you know, you also want to be relaxed. I should also mention I'm using this size J hook, which is the smaller hook. This is the same hook that you did the outer border around each square. Okay, and you can see this is coming all the way across. I'm going to go ahead and work this all the way across, and then I'll show you what I have at the end of these 35 stitches. I'll actually show you the join in the chain 2 at the end of this row. Okay, I have worked the knurl stitch, connecting the 2 all the way across. I'll give you a better look at that in a second. And the last thing I'm going to do, I come to the chain 2 corner. Thankfully my stitches did align. I did have 35 on each side. Now if for some chance you don't have 35 on one of them, I know it's easy to make a mistake, but it's also easy to cover up the mistake. If you have, let's say, 1 stitch short, all you would do is work an additional stitch, or work the final stitch on the last piece, and all you would need to do is just kind of double up on one of the other stitches. Or you could even just have 1 stitch less, whichever looks better if you need to. I hope you don't have to do that. Okay, the last thing we're going to do a slip stitch, a reverse slip stitch, like so. slip stitch, give it a little tug, okay, and give it a chain, give it a tug, leave a nice long strand, okay, pull it through. Okay, so let's take a look at our join. Not bad, okay. So this is the first of many. Okay, so this is the first one. Okay, so if this is my first square going horizontally, and then the next square is going vertically, then I'm going to just join the next square. Let's see if I can find, okay, here we go. Here's my next square, and again with the right sides facing, and make sure that the next square you add on is just going the opposite direction. Okay, so I would just continue this. I would go across one more time, joining just like I did, joining in the chain 2 spaces like this. I'm not going to do this, I don't want to bore you to tears with a long video, but you're going to do this again all the way across. Now then the next one you would attach below this, it would be vertically, just make sure it's going up, and then the last one would be vertical. Okay, so the last of the 5 squares should match the first one. Okay, and then after you do that, do another one this way, and then do 2 after that, starting with the vertical, with one going this way and back and forth, back and forth. So that's what you need to do. I will come back in a few minutes and I will show you how to join the vertical, or actually the rows. Once you finish doing 4 of these, then we're going to join the long rows, and I'll show you just briefly how to do that. Now I'm going to be putting the long rows of 5 squares each, the panels together. I've already started down at this end, and I joined using, again, the chain 2 corners of each panel, and have come down along this edge. And as you can see, the squares are starting to really flatten out and look nice for us once you put it together. Okay, so I'm gonna continue to work on this. As you get to the 2 panels back to back, make sure you work through both chain 2 corners of each square. So I'm going to work through the one on the left side and the one on the right side. Make sure you work through both of those and all the way to the end. When you get to the end, all you need to do is do a reverse slip stitch like I showed you earlier in the close-up, and finish off at the end. By the time you finish, you should have 4 rows of 5 squares each, crocheted together. Once you do that, you can join me in the next video, and I will show you how to do the finishing border.